Jackie, mom of 3, board-certified pediatrician, founder of Dove Pediatrics, and your prayerful pediatrician. And I am here today. I want to talk to you about something that everyone is calling and texting me about. Their kids are sick. It is sick season. It is cold and flu season. We are underway and everybody is starting to get sick and want to know, what can I do? So we're gonna take a little trip down healthy lane and give you some tips and tricks, my best recommendations for staying healthy, but also what to do once you find yourself or your family or your children getting sick. My first tip, pray. Because everything is going around. In our area, we have a lot of influenza A that we've been catching this week and last week, and I'm sure that it is going around everywhere else just as much. So pray for your protection, pray for healing, and I don't mean that as a last resort. I mean pray that consistently throughout the winter, because He created your body, so He can boost it up, He can help that immune system and keep you healthy. So I'm not joking when I say that. We pray for health every single day. But here are the practical tips. I'm gonna cover, number 1, how to stay healthy throughout this winter season, and then number 2, what to do if you find yourself, your family, your children starting to get sick. All right, let's hop on in. What can we do to try to stay healthy in this winter cold and flu season? And the most important things that I'm gonna talk about are things that we should be doing anyway. Do not wait to do these things until your family is sick. These are things that I want you to already start incorporating throughout the winter so that you stay healthy, so that your body already has the building blocks that it needs to fight off the illnesses that come your way, okay? First of all, let's take a look at your diet. What does everybody start taking the minute they get a sniffle or a cough, or just when the cold and flu season starts? They start bumping up their vitamin C intake. And what I see so many people do is they run to the store, they get the biggest supplement they can get, and they start taking vitamin C and zinc, plus or minus some elderberry every single day. But a lot of us don't realize 1 navel orange contains enough vitamin C for an adult male for their daily intake of vitamin C. It is so much better for your body to absorb the nutrients that it needs to be able to fight off infection from the actual source. Now, vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, and what does that mean for you? That means that your body will absorb what it needs and the excess will be dumped in your urine. So if you are already eating a navel orange every single day, guess what? If you're taking a vitamin C supplement on top of that, you have really extra vitamin C urine. So I would much rather prefer that you actually get your vitamin C on a daily basis from your foods. This one might actually surprise you. Did you know that a bell pepper contains more than 100% of your needed vitamin C daily value? So all winter long, if you're having either an orange or a bell pepper once a day, you are covered. You are getting that immune boost you need without paying for all the extra garbage that's in the vitamin C powder or tablet you're taking. Okay, so what else besides vitamin C? How about zinc? Did you know that meat, dairy, eggs, and then some other plant sources like legumes or seeds, nuts, or whole grains are all wonderful sources of zinc. Your highest source of zinc is actually going to be in red meat, like a steak. Steak is really rich in zinc, which helps the immune system, gives it a boost in addition to the vitamin C, and it also contains a good amount of iron. Your body needs iron to deliver oxygen to every single tissue in the body. And guess what? Those cells that are responsible for fighting off infection, yeah, they need oxygen too. So iron is another thing that you need as a staple in your diet to be able to function optimally and fight off infection. Other staples that should be in your diet all winter long: onions, for the anti-inflammatory properties, and onions also have antiviral properties. They contain quercetin, which is coming out as a very well-known anti-inflammatory, but they also have specific antiviral properties that can help stop viruses from replicating inside your body. Another one, its cousin, good old garlic. When you crush or chop garlic, allicin is released, which has actually been found to target the enzymes and proteins needed for viral replication. So yes, yes, onions and garlic are antiviral, and having them as part of your regular diet all through the cold and flu season will help protect you. The moment you come in contact with that flu or cold virus, your body already has all of the building blocks that it needs to help fight off that infection. Grandma's good old chicken noodle soup wasn't just a myth that it was good for the soul. Most chicken noodle soup recipes contain that healthy meat. It also contains onions, garlic, and other herbs and spices that also have anti-inflammatory and immune boosting properties. Things like thyme, oregano, rosemary, even black pepper. So don't just wait until you don't feel good to bust out that homemade chicken noodle soup recipe. I want you to make it a regular part of your meals throughout the winter months to keep your immune system functioning optimally, and rotate in many meals that contain peppers, onions, garlic, and all of those good antioxidant ingredients that will help to keep you healthy. After diet, all of the regular things. Wash your hands with soap and water. Sanitizer only goes so far, and did you know it's not so much the sanitizer itself that kills everything on the hands, it's how long you take to rub it in. The friction on your hands from you rubbing in sanitizer helps to kill bacteria and viruses. Next, prioritizing sleep. During sleep, your body not only repairs and restores from the daytime, but it's also when some of your most important immune cells are produced. Those cells help fight infection, but also help to lower inflammation. A lack of sleep can lead to increased inflammation and a decreased ability for you to fight off all of those illnesses that you are coming in contact with on a daily basis. And last but not least, you stay healthy by staying hydrated. Every single cell in your body needs water to function. And that balance of water is what helps to keep you healthy. If you have enough water, you can flush out all of the things that do not belong in your body and all of the waste from those infections. If you are dehydrated, it only adds on to the inflammation and the lack of ability to fight off infection. So get those water bottles and keep them filled up. And no, soda, juice, tea, coffee, those are not replacements for pure water. It is not the same, it is not going to hydrate you the same, and it's not going to keep you healthy the same. Dump the extra junk and just drink water. Okay, so then now, once you're sick, what do we do? These are the messages that I am getting all week long. First of all, if you're not already doing all the things that I just mentioned, go ahead and start. Second, what I would recommend kind of depends on what the symptoms are. Most colds and flu are gonna start with some upper respiratory symptoms, which means runny nose, cough, congestion. The most important thing you can do at this stage is to try to keep the nasal passages and the sinuses as clear as possible. Because the longer all of that mucus just sits in there, the worse and worse and worse you feel, and the more likely bacteria can get in and take advantage. Now, before you run for the decongestant, I don't recommend them. We don't recommend them for kids anyway, but I don't even recommend them for adults, and here's why. A decongestant will keep you from producing more mucus for a specified period of time. It doesn't get to the root problem, and it doesn't actually clear out the junk that is in there. So what it'll do is dry up the secretions that are in the sinuses, but now you have sticky, thick mucus that you have a hard time getting out from the internal recesses of your skull where the sinuses are, and it just stays there and gets stuck. I would much rather do natural options like a sinus wash or a sinus rinse if you're old enough to tolerate it. And for the little kids, here's Dr. Jacki's trifecta. Start with a steamy bathroom. Let the shower run as hot as it goes. Let the bathroom get all steamy. Close the doors and hold that child in that steam for about 15-20 minutes. No, not in the scalding water, just in the steam. It's gonna be like a sauna. The steam is gonna help to loosen any mucus that's in the nasal passages and the sinuses and make it easier for it to be removed in a moment. After the steam, go for a saline spray. Now, either a saline nasal spray, a nasal saline drop for little babies, or my new favorite, a saline inhaler. The two brands that I have seen that make them are Boogie brand, you know, the brand that makes the bright green boogie wipes, and Frida Baby. Both of these are canisters with a mask that goes over their nose and mouth and allows them to inhale hypertonic saline, which is known to help to break up all of that mucus so that they can actually get it out. So once you've done the steamy bathroom, once you've done the saline, either drops or the inhaler, next is getting it out. If your child is old enough to blow it out, now is your chance. If they are not, I highly recommend a nasal aspirator. Nose Frida, if you're brave enough to actually get out that mucus with your own suction power on the other end, there is a filter, but here's why I love it. If you look at the size of a bulb syringe, it is skinny and long, and that's gonna go in really far into the nasal cavity before it forms enough of a seal that you can actually get suction to pull the mucus out. A nose Frida is wide at the end, so it doesn't have to go very far into the nose until it forms a good seal and you're able to provide suction to get that mucus out. Now, there are some mechanical nasal aspirators. I would just caution you to use a very gentle setting and to not go in the nose further than it takes to create that seal. And you want to limit suctioning, no matter what method you're using, to only when it's absolutely necessary. So before bed, definitely, that's gonna give you the longest period of sleep possible without congestion. But then throughout the day, really only if your child is having a really hard time breathing or nursing for a nursing infant, because the more you put that device in the nasal passage, the more that mucosa is actually going to get irritated. And if it gets irritated, it can swell. And if it swells, it's going to get more congested. So really limit that to just when needed. Whereas you can use the steamy bathroom and the saline spray all day long. Next, fevers. I don't think I can go more than 2 or 3 days without a question about fevers. And that's okay. Here is the scoop. It is okay to just monitor a fever. A fever is your body's natural response to whatever the body is fighting off. So it tells us that the immune system is working. It is a symptom. It is not the problem. As long as your child is comfortable, you can allow that fever to ride its course and come down naturally. And I would recommend you do so, because what most people are afraid of is called a febrile seizure, that they got too hot and it caused a seizure. But what we know about febrile seizures is that they actually can happen just because of the abrupt change in temperature. For example, if your child goes from 98.6 to 103 within 30 seconds, that is an abrupt change. But they can also be caused by an abrupt change on the downswing. So if your child does have a 103 fever and your goal is to drop it as fast as possible back down to normal, that in itself can also induce a febrile seizure because of the change in temperature that happened really rapidly. So I opt for more natural methods. A warm bath, no matter how warm it is, you could give them a normal temperature bath and it still is going to be a lower bath water temperature than what their internal temperature is with that fever. So a warm bath will help to bring down that temperature naturally. A warm cloth on the forehead, on the chest, or on the feet, and strip them down. Strip them down to their diaper, to their underwear, let them sit there with a light blanket and just chill out. As long as they are able to stay hydrated and they're comfortable enough to drink and stay hydrated, you do not have to treat the fever. Now, if they're uncomfortable and they can't eat and they can't sleep, definitely give them a break. It is okay to treat the discomfort, either with Tylenol or Motrin, depending on your comfort level and the age of your child. No Motrin under 6 months. Or there are homeopathic options that you can find your local homeopath and ask which would be best depending on how your child is presenting with that fever. Now, once that fever starts, as a physician, we're gonna be asking about what we call localizing signs. What does that mean? That means that there might be a sign or a symptom that your child exhibits that would lead us to what might be causing the fever. For example, are they pulling at their ears? Does it seem like their ears are in pain? That would potentially localize to an ear infection. Are they having trouble breathing? Are they breathing really fast? Or are they having labored breathing? where you can see their belly kind of sucking in under their ribs. That might point to an impending pneumonia. Are they having severe vomiting or diarrhea? That might lead us to a GI infection. Sometimes they have fever with no other sign. A fever with no localizing signs can be monitored for up to 5 days because most viral illnesses, that fever lasts about 5 days. Now, there are some viruses that can cause fever longer than that, but after that 5-day mark, what we get more concerned about is there a bacterial infection that has not localized to a specific spot that we need to make sure we are not missing? So if your child has a fever for longer than 5 days with no extra signs, please make sure to check in with your doctor. If they do have any of those localizing signs, please also check in with your doctor sooner rather than later, because you do need to rule out things like strep throat, ear infection, pneumonia, and urinary tract infections. Now, what is an emergency when your child is sick? There are so many symptoms that you can treat at home just by trying to keep your child comfortable, but it's important for you to know what are things that your doctor would tell you to go to the emergency room immediately if you see these things. Number 1, respiratory distress. Breathing fast, breathing hard, seeing retractions. Retractions are when your belly sucks under your ribs with every breath, or you see the skin in between your ribs sucking in, or the skin up above the breastbone, up above the sternum sucking in with every breath, where they look like they cannot get that full breath in and out. Also, nasal flaring. So if their little nostrils are flaring with every breath and you also see those retractions, those are signs that you need to go to the emergency room immediately and at least be evaluated. Number 2, dehydration. So let's say your child doesn't feel good and they haven't been eating well for a couple of days. That's okay, as long as they're drinking enough to stay hydrated. If they've been sweating a ton and now you start to notice that their either wet diapers or their urine output is decreasing to less than 1 in an 8-hour period, so less than 3 in a full 24-hour period, that is a reason to seek emergent care. They might not be able to rehydrate themselves, and it might be time to consider IV fluids just to rehydrate them. And thirdly, and this is actually the most important, but it's the least common, is true lethargy. I see a lot of parents use the term lethargy because their child is tired. But let me clarify, if they are able to sit on the couch and they just look tired, they're not really moving around, but they're watching TV and they're overall okay, they're just a little bit uncomfortable, that is not the lethargy that we consider emergent. This would be your child is just kind of not with it, and you're talking to them and they're out of it. They might respond sometimes, but other times they're not quite answering appropriately. They don't have good muscle tone, so instead of being strong and resisting you, they're just kind of floppy. Those are emergent. All of those are reasons that you need to be seen in an emergency room. So you can imagine there's actually a lot of other signs and symptoms that would still be okay to watch but are not this emergent. And I urge you, as much as you can, please, 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 if you don't need to be in the emergency room, please don't, because there are so many more germs and you will sit kind of a long time if there are other things that are truly more emergent. And last but most certainly not least, at the first sign of any illness, whether it be cough, cold, flu, muscle aches, vomiting, I will tell you what we do in my house. We swear by this homeopathic remedy, which is oscillococcinum. Most people can't say it, so we just say oscillo for short. This is an immune boosting supplement that can be taken with your other medications that you start at the very onset of symptoms, and it will help to shorten the course of your illness. It is recommended for any flu-like symptoms, but I take it anytime anybody coughs in my exam room. So I'm taking it just about once or twice a week during the entire winter season to help keep my immune system boosted and protected, because I just can't afford to get sick. So those are all of Dr. Jacki's favorite tips for cough, cold and flu season. I pray that you stay healthy, but if you need it, those are all the tips. I pray that this blessed you, and take this with you all through the winter season. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe so that we can all stay healthy while we build a community of kingdom parents on a mission to raise a healthy and faithful next generation. I will catch you next time.